Mountains cannot face each other, but people, whether bad or good, will meet each other at some point. On the way to work, the shoemaker and the tailor once met each other. The tailor is small and handsome, often joking but kind. Looking at the trunk the other person was carrying, the tailor guessed what the other person did. He sang in a mocking voice, "Sew me a line, draw this thread for me, smooth the thread with wax, remember to nail it." For sure. Originally not fond of joking around, the shoemaker grimaced as if he had drunk vinegar, ready to rush forward as if he wanted to twist the tailor and number 39's neck. The little tailor smiled and offered wine to make up. "Why are you so angry? Drink a little, swallow your anger and heal your brother." The shoemaker took a long drink. The anger on his face also disappeared. He handed the wine bottle back to the tailor and said, "I took a long drink carefully." People often say they drink a lot, but they don't, and number 39's say they and number 39's thirsty. Now, let and number 39's travel the world together, shall we? The tailor replied, "Anything is fine with me, as long as you are also interested in going to the big city where there are jobs available." The shoemaker said, "I also intend to go to the big city. In small, remote places, it is very difficult to find food, and in the countryside, everyone is barefoot together." The two of them continued their journey, following each other like weasel feet running in the snow. Time is available, food to get through the day is lacking. In every city, both of them would take a walk and then come to greet the workers of the same profession. The assistant tailor is always smiling, his cheeks are rosy, and he looks agile, so whenever there is work, the workers and number 39's guild immediately calls him to do it. Uncle is also very charming. The foreman and number 39's daughter secretly hugged and kissed the tailor and number 39's assistant behind the door. Every time the two met, the tailor and number 39's intestines swelled a little more. The shoemaker, who was usually frowning, saw this, his face grimaced, and he sighed, "The more cunning and cunning, the more lucky you are." The tailor is always smiling, singing, and whatever he earns, he shares it with you immediately. Whenever he had a few coins in his pocket, he would immediately take it out and order something to drink. He would happily tap the table and chairs with his hands, making the cups and saucers dance on the table. I always think, if money comes in, money must come out. After wandering for a while, the two came to a large forest. Through the forest you will reach the capital, but right at the entrance of the forest there are two paths leading to the capital. One path takes 7 days. The other only takes 2 days. Neither of us knows which way is shorter. They sat down under an oak tree to discuss how many days of dry food they should take with them to eat along the way. The shoemaker said, "People must know how to look ahead. Just count a little extra. In my opinion, you should bring bread for 7 days on the road." The tailor said, "Why worry so much?" He bent his back and loaded bread for 7 days like a donkey, never looking sideways or vertically. I don't and number 39's follow anyone. Money in your pocket is the same in any season, summer as well as winter. But when it comes to bread, when it and number 39's hot, the crust can become dry and the inside moldy. I can and number 39's be crazy like that. Why can and number 39's we find a short path? I only have to carry bread for 2 days. ISN and #39, T. That good? Then everyone took care of their own parts and only bought the portion of cake they planned. Finished, the two walked through the forest, leaving their fate to the heavens. The forest is as quiet as in a church. There was no wind blowing, no stream gurgling, no birds chirping, and no sunlight could penetrate the dense branches and leaves. The shoemaker did not say a word, because the bread was heavy. On his back made him sweat profusely. Sweat flowed drop by drop on his dark, frowning face. On the contrary, the tailor was still cheerful, waving his hands and feet with leaves to blow the trumpet or sing a song. He thought to himself, God must be very happy to see me having fun like this. Suddenly 2 days have passed. On the third day, the tailor had eaten all the cakes and had not yet gone through the forest. He began to feel worried, but he was still not discouraged and believed that he would be lucky. On Tuesday night, he had to starve and sleep under a tree. The next morning, he stood up and continued walking with an empty stomach. The fourth day passed in the same way. When the shoemaker sat on the tree trunk that fell across the road and took out the cake to eat, the tailor had to sit and watch. Every time he asked for a cake, his companion would laugh mockingly and say, "You and number 39. Re always so funny, Aaron and #39, tu? Now try to taste what it and number 39's like when people have nothing left to be happy about. Birds that sing early in the morning will be eaten by hawks at night." In short, the shoemaker is a heartless person. But by the morning of the fifth day, the poor tailor could no longer stand up. He was too exhausted to say a word, his eyes were bloodshot, and his cheeks were white. At that time, the shoemaker told the tailor, "Today I will give you a piece of cake, but as compensation you must let me poke out your right eye." The unfortunate tailor didn't and #39 know how to save himself. He wanted to live, so he agreed. He cried, his eyes filled with tears, then he leaned forward, raised his eyes so that the shoemaker, a man with a heart of stone, used the tip of an iron knife to gouge out his right eye. Suddenly the tailor remembered what his mother used to say when he was a child and was caught stealing in the kitchen. And quote, "If you eat, eat until your stomach is full. If you get beaten, grit your teeth and endure it." And quote. In exchange for food, the price was too high. When he finished eating, the tailor stood up and immediately forgot his misfortune. Not only that, he also consoled himself, "One eye is more than enough to see." But on the sixth day, the hunger came again, so hungry, my heart felt like it wanted to stop beating. At night, he no longer had the strength to sit down, so he just let his body fall down against a tree to sleep. On the morning of the seventh day, his strength was exhausted. The tailor could not stand up anymore. He felt that the scythe of death was lying next to his neck. At that time, the shoemaker said, "I also want to do you a favor and give you another piece of cake, but there is no such thing as giving it away for free. You have to let me gouge out the other eye." Now the tailor finds himself living without any worries, so he has to sit down and pray to God to forgive him and say, "Okay, just do what you want, I can and number 39 help but accept fate." But remember, the truth. Life changes, evil is rewarded with evil. What did I do to you? I used to share the sweets and the bitters with you during the days when I was doing well. In my job, I have to sew every needle and thread. If I lose my eyes, I won. And number 39. T be able to sew them anymore. I and number 39. LL have no choice but to beg for food. When I and number 39. Am blind in both eyes, please Don and number 39. T leave me alone here, lest I die of hunger and thirst. The shoemaker took a knife and gouged out the tailor and number 39's left eye, then gave him a piece of cake to eat, gave him a stick, and led him away with him. When the sun set, the two people had just come out of the forest. In front of them was a field, not far away was a gallows. The shoemaker led him to the gallows, left him there, and then continued on. Fatigue, hunger, thirst, and pain made the poor tailor fall asleep until morning. The next day, at dawn, he woke up, not knowing where he was. Feeling a burning pain in his eyes, the tailor immediately took a handkerchief and soaked it in the dew-covered grass, then brought it up to wipe his eye sockets. Just a moment later, a strange thing happened. Nestled in the two eye sockets were now two shiny black pupils. The tailor and number 39's eyes were bright again. After he had calmed down, he saw the sun rising behind the mountain. In the plain in front of him was a huge capital, with a magnificent citadel, hundreds of bell towers, on top of which was a glittering gilded cross under the sky. Sunshine. Now he can clearly see every leaf on the tree, flocks of birds flying by, and see mosquitoes buzzing in the air. He took a sewing needle out of his pocket, threaded the thread as quickly as before, and his heart was filled with joy. Then he threw the bag on his back, immediately forgetting all the suffering he had just experienced. Uncle continued on his way, singing and whistling loudly as he walked. First, he met a brown-haired colt running around in the field. He grabbed the horse and number 39's mane and was about to jump on it and ride it into the city, but the horse begged him, "I and number 39 am still a baby, even a small person like you riding it could break my back. Please let me run and jump until I am strong. Maybe there will come a time in the future when I can repay you." The tailor said, "Okay, then run. I see you and number 39 still young enough to run around and run around." He took the whip and lightly hit it on the back. The horse was so happy that it jumped up and down through the low bushes and through the holes, then galloped straight out into the field. From the next day until now, the tailor has not had a single piece of food in his stomach. He thought, "The sunlight shines into my eyes, but I and number 39 am still speechless. Now, whenever we come across something we can eat, we grab it and eat it right away." Just then, there was a stork walking majestically across the field, heading towards the tailor. He immediately grabbed its leg and said, "Stop, stop. I Don and number 39 T know if your meat is delicious, but hunger doesn't and hash 39 T allow me to be picky anymore. I have to cut your blood, make your feathers, and then roast it." The stork replied, "Please Don and number 39 T kill me. I am a magical bird, a bird that is useful to humans, no one dares to touch it. If you let me live, then there will come a time when I can repay you." The tailor said, "Then please, Mr. Cao Cao, fly away." The stork spread its wings and slowly flew away, letting its long legs hang down. The tailor said to himself, "The situation is like that. What can we do now?" The hunger kept increasing, and the already flat stomach became even more flat. Now whoever gets close will die. At that moment, he saw 2 ducklings in the pond swimming towards him. Uncle said, "As soon as I finished speaking, you guys swam over. What a perfect time." Then he grabbed one and was about to wring its neck when the mother duck quickly swam in the reeds, opened her beak and begged him to take pity on her duck. Mother duck said, "Think about it, how much pain my mother felt when she saw people taking her away to be killed." The kind tailor replied, "Don and number 39. T worry, Ma and number 39. I returned the child to the foster mother. Then he released the duckling into the pond. He turned around and saw that he was standing in front of an old tree with a hollow trunk and a flock of bees flying in and out. The tailor said, "It and number 39. 's true that we live in good places and meet good people. Honey will wake you up and restore your strength." But behold, the queen bee came out, her voice threatening. "If you touch our troops and destroy our nest, immediately thousands of stingers will pierce your skin and burn like thousands of red-hot needles. But if you leave me alone and go your way, there will come a time when we will make amends. Tailor, I find it impossible to make a living here." Uncle said, 3 glues are empty. The 4th glue is nothing. What a terrible lunch. With a flat stomach, he tried to drag himself into the city. When we reached the city, the church bell had already chimed 12 noon. At this time, the restaurant has lunch. You can sit at the table and order food. When he was full, he said, "Now we have to find something to do." He went around the streets, found a master worker in the garment ward and immediately found a good job. Because when he first learned the trade, he met a good teacher who cut and sewed very well, so he soon became famous. Everyone wanted to bring fabric and ask the little tailor to sew it for them. His reputation spread more and more in the area. He thought to himself, "I have reached the pinnacle of sewing. And life gets easier every day." Hearing rumors, the king recruited him to work as a tailor in the court. But real life is often difficult. That same day, his old companion was also appointed a royal shoemaker. When he suddenly recognized the tailor and saw that he now had bright eyes again, he became afraid and thought, "I have to find a way to eliminate him before he plans to take revenge on me." But usually, whoever sows the wind will reap the storm. That evening, right after work when it was already dusk, the shoemaker groped his way to tell the king, "Your Majesty, the extravagant tailor had the audacity to say that he could find it. His Majesty and number 39's golden crown has long been lost." The king said, "That and number 39's great." The king summoned the tailor to come to court the next day. The king ordered him to find the lost golden crown. "Otherwise, you will be expelled from the capital." The tailor thought to himself, "Damn it! Only scoundrels dare to promise to do things beyond their ability. But if the king insists on forcing me to do something no one else can do, then I Don and number 39's need to wait until tomorrow. It and number 39's best to leave the capital today." He packed his luggage and left. He reluctantly said goodbye to the capital, where he was doing well. As he left, he looked back. He went to the edge of the pond, where he had previously planned to catch ducklings to eat, and saw the mother duck standing there preening her feathers. Mother duck immediately recognized him and asked him why he walked like that. Uncle said, "If you knew what happened to me, you probably wouldn't and #39 be surprised." Then he told the mother duck about his fate. Duck said, If that and number 39's all, I can help you." That crown fell into the water, lying right at the bottom of the pond. "I can get it right now. Please spread a towel at the edge of the pond." The mother duck and 12 ducklings dived down. 5 minutes later, the whole flock emerged. The mother duck swimming in the middle, on her back was a crown. The ducklings swim around, occasionally using their beaks to support their mother so she doesn't and #39 have to exert too much effort. The ducks swam to shore and placed their crowns on the towel. Do you know how beautiful and magnificent that crown is? Under the sunlight, the crown sparkled like hundreds of thousands of beautiful pearls. The tailor grabbed the 4 corners of the scarf, wrapped the crown, and brought it to the king. The king was happy and rewarded him with a gold necklace. The shoemaker saw that his first stratagem had failed, so he sought a second stratagem. He went to the king and said, "Your Majesty, the tailor boasted that he could make a model of the king and number 39's palace out of beeswax. The model was a miniature king and number 39's palace, identical, outside as well as inside." The king summoned a tailor and ordered him to make a palace out of beeswax, with the outside and inside identical to the king and number 39's palace. If you don and number 39's finish the job, or if you finish it but are still missing even one nail on the wall, you will be thrown into an underground dungeon for the rest of your life. The tailor thought to himself, "These are all annoying things. Who can stand this?" Having finished speaking, he packed his bags and left. When he reached the hollow tree trunk, he sat down and bowed his head. The bees in the hive flew out. The queen bee asked if the wind stiffened his neck or why his head was hanging down. The tailor replied, "That and number 39's not true. There is another thing that makes me sad." Then he told the queen about the things the king told him to do. The whole colony of bees buzzed loudly together. The queen bee said, "Please rest assured and go home. Tomorrow morning, at the same time, remember to bring a large towel here. Everything will definitely be in order." The tailor returned home. The bees flew to the king and number 39's palace, flew through open windows, crawled everywhere in the palace, measuring every inch with precision. After measuring, they fly back to the nest. The whole group of bees gathered together to make a wax model, and it was finished that evening. Ong did it so quickly that people felt like the castle gradually appeared in the blink of an eye. The next morning, when the tailor arrived, the magnificent palace was already there. Not a single nail was missing in the wall, not even a tile was missing on the roof. The model looks smooth, white as snow, and smells of honey. The assistant tailor carefully wrapped the model in a towel and presented it to the king. The king was very surprised, ordered the model to be displayed in the middle of the largest living room, and then rewarded the tailor with a large house built of stone. But the shoemaker still hasn't and #39 given up his bad intentions. The third time, he came to the king again, "Your Majesty." Previously, the emperor had a well dug in the middle of the dragon and number 39's yard, but water did not come out. Hearing that story, the tailor decided that he could dig so that water would spray up as high as a person and number 39's head, as clear as crystal. The king called for the tailor to come and said, "Tomorrow morning, if there is no water spray in my dragon yard as you promised, the executioner will behead you right there in that yard." There was no need to think any longer. The poor tailor hurriedly left the capital. Thinking that I would lose my life on this trip, tears kept flowing from my eyes. While he was still wandering sadly, the colt he let go of before rushed forward. Now it was a beautiful brown horse. The horse said, "Now it and number 39's time for me to repay you. I know what you need. Don and number 39 worry, I and number 39 I'll get it done for you soon. Please get on the saddle. My back is now strong enough for 2 people like you to sit on it." The tailor felt confident again and jumped on the horse and number 39's back. The horse galloped into the capital, straight into the dragon yard in the palace. The horse ran 3 times around the yard, then, as fast as lightning, it used all its strength and slammed its 4 hooves onto the floor. The sound of the ground cracking, a piece of dirt in the courtyard shot up into the air, flying across the palace roof, followed by a spray of water as high as a horse rider. The water is clean and crystal clear. The sunlight seems to dance with the water and number 39's rays. Seeing that scene, the king was extremely surprised, ran to hug and kiss the tailor in front of everyone. But happiness doesn't and #39's last long. The king had a bunch of daughters, all of them beautiful, but no sons. The 4th time, the sinister shoemaker came to the king again. "Your Majesty, the tailor still has an and #39's stopped his boastful habit. Now he boasts that if he likes, he can make a baby boy fall from the sky to be the king and number 39's son." The king summoned the tailor and said, "If within 9 days, you give me a son, then you can be friends with my eldest daughter for 100 years." The tailor thought to himself, "I must say that the reward is really great. Who wouldn't and #39's want it? But the cherry is too high for me to reach. If I try to reach up to pick it, the branch under my foot will break and I will fall to the ground." He went home, sat with his feet up on the sewing table, thinking about what to do now. Uncle lamented, "How can I live now? I have to leave. I definitely cannot live in peace here." Uncle quickly left the capital. When passing through the field, he met his old friend the stork walking back and forth, occasionally stopping, looking like a sage, standing and admiring a frog and then swallowing it. The stork walked towards the uncle and greeted him. Stork raised his voice. "I see you have a towel wrapped around your back. What is the matter that requires you to leave the capital?" The tailor told the stork how the king asked him to do things that he could not do. Uncle complained about his fate. The stork said, "What do you have to worry about to make your hair turn gray? I will help you through your trouble. I still went to pick up the baby and bring it back to the capital. Let me bring back a prince from the magic well. Go home and wait in peace. In 9 days, come to the king and number 39's palace and I will be there." The tailor returned home. On the appointed day, he was present at the palace. At that moment, a stork flew in and knocked on the window. The tailor opened the window for the stork. The tall man walked in, walking leisurely on the marble floor. The stork and number 39's beak held a baby as beautiful as an angel, raising its hand to follow. The queen. The stork placed the baby in the queen and number 39's arms. The queen hugged and kissed the baby. Her heart was so happy, her heart seemed to stop beating. Before saying goodbye, the stork took down the bag from his shoulder and offered it to the queen. In the bag are colorful candies as gifts for the princesses. The eldest daughter did not get any candy but got a husband who was a funny tailor. The tailor said, "For me it and number 39's like winning the lottery." The shoemaker had to make shoes for the tailor to use for dancing on the wedding day. Then there was an order for him to leave the capital forever. He ran into the forest like a lost soul, and probably died there, because no one saw or heard anything about him again. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.